Greetings and bienvenue, Midnight Crew. Thank you for returning to this broadcast, and welcome to new viewers joining us for the first time. If you like a video, then feel free to subscribe.
What's your freakiest experience? Any point in your life that might be freaky or creepy will do.
I haven't had many spooky experiences, but there is one that I will share. 5 years ago, 23 years old. Go to Mexico to visit family I haven't seen in close to 10 years. Go to a small village where my grandparents lived in their youth. 2-hour drive from the nearest town, in the middle of mountains near the valley floor. At the time of my visit, there was a yearly village festival where people from the town and their families all come back and celebrate their town. Anyway, early afternoon before the day's festivities begin. Bored. Tell my family I'm going to go out for a walk around the pueblo and take some pictures. Head down toward the valley, at the edge of town. Walk a good distance. From far away, I see a small creek with a really old-looking stone bridge. Sweet. Picture time. No trail down to the bridge. Have to sit down and slide down steep hillsides. Walk, slide, repeat. Notice that there aren't any animal noises. No wind. Thought it was odd, but whatever. Keep trying to get closer to the bridge, slowly becoming more wary of doing so the closer I get. Get close enough to where I can zoom in with my camera lens and see some writing engraved on the rocks. Want to get closer, slow down more. Finally, just stand there staring at the bridge, looking around me, staring into bushes, trying to focus on any noise. Can't convince myself to get any closer, so I start walking back to town. Weird feeling behind me. Start walking faster. Slow jog. Look back every once in a while to make sure nothing's creeping up behind me. Finally make it back to the nearest house. Get onto the road of the town. My cousin is nearby. Yells at me that everyone was looking for me for 3 to 4 hours. Walk back to my grandparents' cabin. Grandma is super upset because she didn't know where I'd gone. Grandma, it's fine. I went down into the valley because I wanted to take pictures of the bridge down there. Grandma gets mad, raises her voice, tells me to never go down there ever again, to never go past the last house. Ask her why. She says it's nothing. Weird. That evening during the festivities, I ask my grandpa about what Grandma meant. He looks at me, smiles, tells me not to worry about it but to listen to Grandma. I push again, asking why. Old stories from many, many years ago. The devil was seen across the creek near the bridge. Animals end up dead on the other side. Strange deaths. A man was found once, dead. Grandpa goes on to tell me about bad energy over there. Asks if I felt anything. Tell him yes, I did, which is why I didn't go closer. Tells me I remind him of himself when he was younger. Very curious, but not stupid. I didn't realize it at the time, but I didn't take any pictures of the bridge, even from afar. Just had a weird feeling to sort of leave it alone. Small little town in the middle of nowhere, really. I'm not incredibly superstitious, but there's something about old cultures, Native American, Mexican, etc., that I respect and hold stories as plausible.
At military school. Was the worst kid. Broke a window on purpose. Was thrown in isolation for 3 days. They stripped me of my clothes and my cross necklace, left me in my underwear in the complete dark for 3 days. Had to split the blood-stained mattress in half to stay warm. They brought me food, and I couldn't see what I was eating. Listened to a broken fire alarm for 3 days. Cried out for anyone. No one answered. Lost my mind to the point of hallucinating. Was finally let out. Tried running away. They threw me back in. And now I think about it harrowing every fucking day like a PTSD psycho.
All right. I've got one that happened about 3 or so years ago. It was pretty damn scary. Be me, about 17 or so. Lived on and worked at this huge campground. The place was fairly remote but had like over 500 sites and cabins. I worked nearly every job there, and for my last stretch, worked night security. Shit was cash, as I got to drive around in a golf cart all night and just look for people needing help. I was too young to really do anything about major stuff, so on busy days I would have the other guy, Mike, with me. Mike lived there too, and was a pretty cool guy. Kinda stoic, but had a good sense of humor. So it's a moderately busy Friday, and both me and him are on shift. Earlier that week, some housekeepers found a dead bobcat. It wasn't gored or anything like that, just sprawled out dead on a cabin porch. Kinda freaky, but dead shit turns up there pretty frequently. Thursday night, some trash cans around the bathhouses, we had 3, were knocked over and eaten from. Somehow we didn't catch whatever did it in the act. So we're on the watch for a raccoon or something else that was getting into them. Worst case possible would be a bear. Anyway, back to the night. Me and Mike are just cruising on a golf cart, talking about news and such. Nothing really wrong at all. So we go back to the guard shack and watch some TV and wait for night check-ins. Mike asks me if I could do a round real quick while he takes a look at the front area. We only had one cart to use. I start driving down this road that has the seasonal people's trailers there. None of them were there, and it was pretty eerie. Shining my little spotlight to the left and right near some of those trailers. Right as soon as my light hits the underside of this trailer, I see a reflection of eyes and hear a pretty loud thud, and this thing shoots out of there lightning fast. Trying to follow that thing with my light, but it was going too quick. Could tell from the brief look that it was on all fours. I could see that it curved towards an area of cabin sites from the glow of one of the few streetlights, so I decide to try and pursue it. I slam the golf cart's pedal down as I go in hot pursuit of this thing. It's going so fast that the cart can barely keep up, only about 15 miles per hour top speed, and from what I could tell it was beelining towards the cabin area. I get a glimpse of it with the light as it shot underneath a cabin. The thing was about 3 feet tall, and was looking at me from over its shoulder as it ran. It was light brown, and didn't look like it had fur. The back legs looked inverted and it had a round-shaped head. The little gap in the cabin that it slid into looked just large enough for it to fit, so I stopped the cart, got out, and shone the light underneath the cabin. Nothing. Must have gone to another cabin, as there was about 20 or so in that area. I start searching some more, but can't find anything. Get a call on the walkie-talkie from Mike saying that he needs the cart. I go back to the guard shack and he tells me that there was a call just now from a cabin site about some people getting woken up by loud sounds underneath their cabin. There's an RV there, and he tells me to help them check in while he sees what's up. I ask him what site it was, and he tells me 241, which was on the other side of the campground from where I was. So I help with the check-in and go back into the guard shack. About 10 minutes later, I get a walkie-talkie message from Mike. Get the first aid kit. I'm on my way back. Oh shit.jpg. I go to a building nearby, unlock it, and grab the kit. While I'm going back to the guard shack, kit in hand, I can see the cart in the distance heading towards the shack. I wait by the door and Mike pulls up. His legs were cut up pretty bad. Some of the cuts were pretty deep, and there was blood all over. Hand Mike the kit and he goes to work spraying disinfectant and bandaging his legs. Ask him what the hell happened. Well, when I went to the cabin, I crouched and shined my light underneath, and something ran out and started clawing the shit out of my legs. Couldn't even see what it was. Fucker was gone after it got me. He starts laughing and says, I probably scared those guests shitless. I better go back and tell them. He goes away for about 10 minutes and comes back, tells me everything got settled with the guests, and plays it off like nothing happened. At the end of the shift, we tell the manager what happened. He gets the maintenance men to put out some traps to catch whatever the hell it was. Nothing ends up in the traps, and the trash didn't get messed with. Problem solved. I told Mike about what I saw before the whole ordeal happened, and he just replied with interesting. He had to actually go get stitches that morning, as some of the cuts were pretty deep.
Be living alone for several months while my parents are overseas. Be at school, college, during the day. The house is out in the sticks, very isolated, late at night. Be in the living room, laying on the couch, reading on my computer. Big window right behind the couch looks onto the front porch and front yard and forest. Hear a huge thump or banging noise. Probably the cat jumping on the porch swing. Heart pounding because it's a big bang for the cat. Turn the porch light on and look out. Giant raccoon staring back at me. Must be 2 feet tall. Nope. .jpg. Go get my pistol. The raccoon is gone. Kept the pistol close all night.
B14. It's fall and 8 p.m. at night. Had a fight with my mom. I'm going for a walk. Big graveyard 2 blocks from my house. Tell my dad where I'm going. Dad is all over paranormal stuff. Anon, take the video camera with you. You never know. Okay, whatever. Get to the graveyard and turn on the camera. It's dark, but I can see well enough. The moon is bright, and the middle school across the street has a ton of lights. I have walked through this graveyard many times. It's peaceful. It's a little spooky this time around with the bare trees and leaves blowing in the wind. Walk around just talking and singing to myself. A little time passes, and I'm in the middle of the yard. Stopped walking to just film around me. It will make my dad happy that I tried. Looking down at the screen, see a face and something staff-like. I jump out of my skin and look up. It's gone. Calm myself and see a plant hanger holding a flower pot around the area where I kind of saw it. Laugh about how I got scared over a plant holder. Still spooked though, so I calmly walk home. Give my dad the camera and I go get ready for bed. Honestly don't care about the video because I was so sure there was nothing there. Dad calls me into the room a bit later. He shows me a small part of it. As the camera pans left, there's a pale face that looks to be hooded to the left side of the screen. Cue the camera jumping around when I jumped out of my skin. It quickly turns away from the camera and goes off screen. We use the pause and fast forward trick to slow motion the video. We can't see its hand, but it seems to have some kind of staff or pole with it. I'm feeling so many emotions at once. But wait, there is more. Not a moment later in the video, what appears to be another figure crosses from the right to left side of the screen in the background, but that isn't the end of it. Naturally, my dad is super pumped about this find. Still too many feelings for me. But my dad's excitement rubs off on me. Naturally, I show the 3 people I was hanging out with the day before. They freak out over it and think it's super scary. Of course, they now want to go to the graveyard at night too. Shit, why not? Us 3 teens and my dad set out to the graveyard at night. We are really loud and excited. My dad is keeping his cool and being super serious about it. I hurry to show them the spot. There. It's right there. None of us saw anything spooky. Man, what a drag. I guess we go home. Watch the video from that night, nothing exciting. Until none of us are on the screen, but I can hear my voice. The camera is filming an area that wasn't the spot. There seems to be something moving in the background. It looks like two figures digging with shovels. There, it's right there. My voice is heard from the video. The figures immediately stand straight up and bolt. None of us had seen them in person. There was no other video of them. They reacted like they thought I had spotted them. I can't bring myself to label them as ghosts, and that scares me. It's been 11 years, and I am still scared of them. Needless to say, I don't go out to the graveyard to find peace and quiet anymore. I feel embarrassed that after 10 years I forgot the exact order of how the events played out, and that the video was closer to 5 minutes, not 20. To be fair, I hate to watch the thing.
My house was built by my family when I was like 3 years old. They had to demolish an old house and stuff. Also, we lived near an area that most people claim to be very spooky, and that almost every house has its own spirit, ghost, or demon, whatever. My house had an unfinished bathroom until like I was 14. It was dark, and there was a vanity cabinet in front of the entrance, no door, so only the top of it was visible. So here we go. Be 8 years old. Notice that every day at 11 something p.m., something hits the wall like with a hammer or something. Mom says I'm making it up. Start hearing a woman in high heels walking across the corridor, and my sisters hear it too. Fast forward 3 or 4 years. Now my room is where the footsteps start, but I'm already used to sounds. Hear footsteps, but this time walking inside the room. Nope, 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 nope. Try to hide under the mattress until I can't hear it anymore. Kept going for 3 days or so. I wondered why it stopped, so I had the great idea of staying awake until something happened. Fell asleep. Woke up very late, probably 2 a.m. or so. Can't go back to sleep because I have this feeling of being watched. I changed position and closed my eyes slowly enough to realize there was something behind the vanity cabinet. Open my eyes again and see this bald dude looking at me from the bathroom. I've never shouted so loud in my life. Thankfully, my brother came to save me, but that thing was gone.
Got one. I'm drunk enough to post. First off, it's not super spooky and it has no resolution, but it actually did happen. So, there's that. When I was about 18 or so, my friends and I used to go out all the time looking for abandoned or haunted places. We just liked to be scared. Watched a lot of horror movies, read loads of creepy shit on the internet. It was a good rush. One night, I get 2 of my friends together to go look at some haunted torn-down house or lot out by a lake. It was supposed to be a witch's house that got burned down, was haunted, blah blah blah. Some spooky bullshit around it like, they burned down her house. At night you can still see smoke rising from the destroyed chimney. Doesn't matter. We didn't even get to the supposedly haunted spot. The important thing is that we were going in looking to get to this specific lot, looking for, I don't know, ghosts or some shit. The typical, it feels so cold. I feel like I'm being watched shit. Anyways, we had to drive through some woods to get to this place. Ended up at the entrance to a 1-lane road. At the time, I drove a, 97 Grand Prix. Whatever year it was what I called a boat car. Hard to back up and move out of small spaces. So I stopped the car at the top of a hill and refused to drive any further because I don't want to get stuck out there with some rednecks mad that I'm on their land. Running out with a shotgun while I do a 100-point turn trying to get out of this tiny, narrow road. Anyways, I park the car and we get out with a flashlight. I got 2 friends with me. One who's like me, skeptical but looking for something exciting, and one who's just super into supernatural stuff and Really just full of shit. He thought everything was a ghost or a demon or something. Every other day he had some new ghost story. I am actually pretty sure he was a compulsive liar, but whatever. If we felt a cool breeze, it was a goddamn demon. So he's saying he feels things out there and we're making fun of him. We end up hearing something in the woods, and it's a goddamn dog that starts barking at us like crazy. We take off back to my car, get in, get ready to leave. So we head back, and my other friend says he wants to ride back down in the car, presumably so we can leave quicker without running up the hill if someone does come out and see us on their property. All I can think about are angry rural folks running out after us with guns or calling the cops. I argue with him for a minute. Our other friend wants to go back. I'm outnumbered. I tell him fine, but he has to drive because I hate backing up and trying to get out of narrow places with this bullshit car. He agrees and we drive back down. We get to the end of the road and find a locked gate. After being spooked by the dog, I'm not up to going further, and the others are just kinda bored by the whole ordeal. I say fuck it and suggest we call it a night and go to IHOP or something. My friend gets in my car to drive away and begins his 100-point turn while I stick my head out the window to see the front of my car and help him make the turns. We get my car perpendicular with the woods, and as I'm looking forward, each side of the road had small ditches. I was trying to avoid them. I see something behind a tree in front of me. So the trees here weren't super big, but it was pretty dense. But as I'm looking, I see something move, just really slightly. So my eyes are trying to adjust, and I'm trying to figure out what it is I'm looking at. My friend in the driver's seat is silent too, which is weird because I haven't said either keep going or okay stop in a few seconds, and the car hasn't moved either. So I'm scanning the area in front of me, looking for whatever moved. I see another slight movement and my eyes lock on. It looks like a white branch right behind the front line of trees at the edge of the road or ditch. I look closer, scan it, squint. It looks like the leg of a deer, knobby at the joints, thin, long. My eyes scan more. Can't see much, but there's what I interpret as a bipedal figure. Looks like it's trying to hide behind the trees. This all happens in the matter of a couple of seconds. Sorry if it's not too clear. But I see this vague shape of what looks vaguely human. But my eyes are still really locked on the limbs. Knobby, very thin, hairless like human skin. Looks to be very goddamn tall, if I had to guess, maybe 7 to 8 feet. All this clicks in my head, and I realize the arm, or whatever, that I had initially seen had started to lift up. I start yelling at my friend, "Go! Just go right now!" And to my surprise, he does exactly that. Doesn't question me at all. Finishes the turn while I scream at him to hurry and roll up the windows, and we get the hell out. After a couple of minutes driving away, I ask my friend driving, "Did you see that too?" And he says, "Yes, and nothing else." The other full of shit friend was in the back seat, watching the backwoods instead of the ones in front of us. He didn't see anything. Was really upset he didn't know what we were talking about. This happened about 8 years ago. The guy who drove is still my best friend, and we don't really talk about it. We never went back, never even discussed it outside of very brief, "Okay, so you saw XYZ" discussions. I've looked up all sorts of shit trying to figure out what it could have been. My first thought was a dead and gutted deer. Sometimes they hang them upside down after killing them, but it didn't fit the shape or the movement. For a while I tried to just pretend it was some super tall and thin redneck dude checking us out, making sure we weren't about to rob his house, but it wasn't a person. I don't know how to describe it, again, because it just happened so quickly. I just know that it was really unnatural. The limbs and joints were all wrong. The movement was wrong. Anyways, that's my thing. Anyone have any idea what it might have been? Tall, thin deer creature? In the woods at night? It was a long time ago, and I don't really get scared about it anymore, but goddamn would I love to have at least one other person know what I'm talking about.
This happened to me when I was like 5. I'm 32 years old now. Be me. Have to sleep in the same room. Different beds with my sister. My sister was always afraid of the dark. She woke me up every time she wanted to go to the bathroom. Always waited for her outside the bathroom door, in the middle of the dark. One night she wakes me up. "Hey, Anon, can you see that? Who's that?" I open my eyes. An old lady is standing by the door. She is surrounded by children, all of them facing her. She is saying in a very gentle voice, Come here," while waving her hand. Her hand is old and thin, almost skeletal. Some children are hugging her. None of them turn to face us or acknowledge us. She looks like Pick-related, but her robes were all black. She keeps saying, Come here," while waving her almost skeletal hand. I am petrified. My sister is speechless. She is blocking the entrance, but somehow we bolt out of the room, barely passing by her side. We go to our parents' room, which is just next door. "Mom, Dad, there is someone in our room." My dad wakes up immediately. My mom too. We go outside, and the old hag is there, still waving her hand, still saying, Come here." We tell them crying, "She is there, Dad, in the door." My parents look confused. "There is no one there, Anons." "But she is, Dad. Mom, she is saying she wants us to go with her." My parents gaze at the door, keep insisting that nobody is there, but you can tell they are getting freaked out. They're 2 kids seeing things. We slept that night in my parents' room. The old lady never showed up again. I wanted to dismiss this as something I imagined or dreamt, but my sister vividly remembers it, and my parents too, to the detail. We rarely speak about that incident. I still feel a chill from my spine whenever I remember that night. The closest thing I've got to know about her identity is an old character from Russian folklore, Baba Yaga. And I'm not even really sure that was her.
I've had so many experiences, it's not even funny. I don't know how to Greentext, so sorry if that bugs you. Growing up, I lived in an old farmhouse. I used to see an old man just wandering around or checking up on me. Never caused any problems, though. And freaky enough, years later, my sister told me she had also seen him, even though I never talked about it with her. She just came up to me one day and said, "I saw this old man standing over my bed," and we swapped stories about him. Growing up in the same house, I had what I thought at the time were just made-up friends. They were a pair of twins, and we used to play small games all the time. After we moved from that house, parents got divorced and Dad stayed there, but we went with Mum. I came back when I was older, around 14, and they showed up again. But this time, they attacked me and left scratch marks on my arms and back. Scared the shit out of me, but not the worst experience I've ever had. Around the age of 15 or so, I used to have a little girl follow me around everywhere. At the time, I thought I was crazy. But then one day, my friend said she could feel her. So I did research and asked her who she was. Turns out she was from the early 1800s and found me because I used to wander by her grave. All she told me was she wanted to move on, but a bad man would always stop her. I talked to my friend about it, and we decided to try sending her to the other side. Nothing happened during it. All I know is she disappeared and I never saw her again. The scariest one of all is very hard for me to talk about. I have actually blocked most of it out of my mind since it really messed with me. I was around 5 years old, living in the same house as the man and the twins. I used to wake up with scratches everywhere, hear chanting, see red eyes, and always felt like something was clinging to me. It stopped after a while though. The reason it was scary was the chanting. I only remember parts of it, but it had something to do with the number 6 and saying there were many of them. Interestingly enough, later on, just a few years ago, I watched an episode of a show, and this girl could have been my double. She had the same thing happen the year that it left me, except hers was worse. To this day, I wish I knew what that thing was, as I'm quite scared that it may come back. I played with the board a few times. Nothing that scary happened, not scary to me. Although once I blacked out, woke up, and was trying to stab my friend. Apparently, while I was trying, I was screaming about her cheating on her boyfriend, which isn't true because she didn't have a boyfriend at the time. That was a strange experience, and I refused to touch one since. I've also seen my grandfather when I overdosed. I saw him when I was in a car wreck as well. I've also seen my aunt on and off. So did my grandmother at the same time. Aside from that, I've seen random spirits walking around, shadow people as well.
I got a somewhat weird story, but I'm a shit storyteller and it's not really spooky. Basically, my father had a shack out in the middle of nowhere in Niederösterreich where me and him always stayed for the weekends. The shack was located in kind of a valley surrounded by a huge forest. There were a few other houses, a few farmers with cows and sheep, and a hunter that normally showed up every month or so. Anyways, me and my father were often taking walks through the woods where we found lots of cool shit. Nothing really scary though. One weekend, one of the farmers told us that a few of his sheep were missing somehow, and if we could look out for them if we were taking a walk. Somewhat long story short, the next day my father and I found the sheep completely ripped apart around a few big rocks a little into the forest, with their innards strewn about everywhere. After we told the farmer, he got the hunter to look at what the hell killed the sheep. Because in our country there are no bears or wolves, so it only could have been a huge dog or something. After we showed the hunter the carcasses, he just looked surprised and said he had no idea what killed them. But whatever it was, it had to have enough strength to rip them in half. I still don't know if there was more to this or not, because my father sold the shack a few weeks after that, because he needed the money. And the last time we went up there, we just grabbed our shit and left. The only other weird thing that I remember about that place was that the farmers used to have a shitton of cats that strolled around the first time we came to the shack about half a year before the dead sheep shit, and a few weeks before the sheep disappeared. All the cats started vanishing one after the other, and the last time we visited there wasn't a single one. I know it's anticlimactic, not really spooky, and probably just boring and confusing, but as boring as this story may be, at least it's true, for what that's worth.
One night I was walking the 3 blocks home to my apartment from my friend's house. Halfway between our houses there's a bridge. Nothing spooky about the bridge at all, just a small single roadway bridge in a residential neighborhood. As I'm walking towards it, a gray wolf saunters out from behind the fence of the house that's closest to the bridge. There's like a strip of grass between the house properties along the road and the road itself, the road on the top of the bridge. So this wolf had been walking along the side of the road and come down the embankment, I guess, to cross down here. Anyway, I guess it should be said that this is smack dab in the middle of suburbia in one of the bigger Canadian cities. Yes, we have large urban areas in Canada.
Of course, it's not completely insane for there to be a wolf there. It's just highly unlikely and out of place. I don't live near any forests or large parks in the city either. I stopped, obviously, and waited to see what he was going to do. I was probably a good 10 to 20 yards away and had the house's fence on my right, so I figured if he came at me, I would be able to jump it and try to get away that way. He didn't come at me. He just stared calmly. So then I thought, oh shit, wolves are pack hunters. So I quickly looked around me. Didn't see any other wolves. I looked back, and he was still standing there staring at me. I knew the worst thing to do would be to run away, so I waited. Probably about 5 minutes passed, with me getting more and more scared that I was probably going to have to fight or run from a wolf and most likely die. During that 5 minutes, I kept glancing over my shoulders in case his pack showed up. After the 5 minutes was up, he calmly walked across the road and to the other side and off behind the fence of the house across the street. I waited a bit, maybe 10 to 20 seconds, then did a few jumps to see over the fences on either side of the road. Looked all clear, so I went home.
Be thief, sneaking around Easter morning, stealing from houses. Decide to hit up one last house around 4:50 a.m. Don't normally rob at this time, but thought, what the hell? Decide to go through the window. Find a Nokia brick phone. Holy shit, they don't make those anymore. Decide to steal it. Find plastic pearls and fake diamond earrings. Look for something that's got to be worth at least something. See a PS4. Who actually buys a PS4 before any worthwhile games are out? Look for anything worth selling. Maybe Bloodborne or GTA 5 or something. Literally no games around. Turn on the PS4. Maybe this guy buys everything online. Could probably sell it if it has PT. Nope. No games installed. No disc inside. Nothing. Realize these guys have already been robbed by Sony. Immediately feel bad and leave the house. Decide to leave the cheap jewelry under the window.
I hope that you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. If you enjoyed tonight's story, then please subscribe to the channel, as more Greentext will appear daily. A new broadcast will appear when the clock strikes midnight Central Time.